Girl, hey.
Girl, hey.
See how I come to work? All demure, all cutesy.
Okay. Oh, demure. Here we go. Okay. Done. Ari. I'm just sending out um invites.
Are you
I'm
funny?
trying to look for. There she is. Zepphora. That got me for a second. I was like, not inviting that person. Let's see. Oh, there she is.
I'm here.
Hello,
Hi!
hello.
Hi.
How
You're so
are we?
excited.
I am okay. How are y'all doing?
Doing well, thank you.
I'm doing good, yeah.
We share this.
How's your day?
My day was in the. I was in
It's
the
been
sun.
one of them days. You know, we all have them.
Oh yeah, totally understand you on that one.
I clean and read all day. Mom life.
Mom,
Same here.
Someone's got to do it.
I mean, if it ain't you, who's doing it?
Not nobody. Hi, Rose.
Hello, Miss Rose.
All right, we can get started if you're ready.
All right, guys. So welcome to Spicy Book Paradise. Thank you so much to Sephora for coming on here, and it's correct, right? That's how we pronounce it. Is it Sephora or
Zepphora.
Zepphora?
Yes, it's pronounced Zepphora, but you can just call me Z. Everybody does.
Z. Okay, that's much easier. All right, Ms. Z. So we're here to talk about your great book,
Yeah.
Delicious.
I
Reckless.
saw y'all's reactions. They were hilarious.
We chose to read it and listen to it, and Lizzie did me the best thing ever, and she sent it to me on Audible, and no regrets, no regrets, none whatsoever.
No regrets. Well, Teddy Hamilton is always a good choice.
Ooh, yes, he is.
That's the truth.
He knows what he's doing.
Oh,
And
definitely.
he's such a sweetheart, too. He is such a sweetie. He's like a big old teddy bear.
Oh, it's so good to
Good to
see
hear
that,
that, yeah.
like to know that like these narrators that they do these big books and they're really good at what they do, and then to find out that they're truly humble and big
Mm-hmm.
old sweethearts. It's awesome to know that.
Yes,
For
he
sure.
was amazing. Katie, who she was amazing. And one of the things that I absolutely love about her is, well, as being an author, you end up coming across people that basically only want to be involved with you for basically the clout of being involved with you. And the one thing about
Correct.
Katie is I hired for Francine before she found out Teddy was going to be on the project. And she had so much excitement. She had never heard of me or my books. And she just had so much excitement about working on it because of her first dark romance. Like, she still said this day that it is the darkest book she has ever read. And I'm like, you were in trouble then because you're stuck with me. And it just gets darker from here.
I was about to ask, does it get darker from this one?
Oh yeah,
Inquiring ones
I
want to know, Mizzy.
Reckless is I will put it this way. The 6th book in the series has a 3-page trigger warning list.
Sounds like a
Okay.
nice grocery list to me. But
Are
okay.
are all 6 books on Audible as well?
No, book 2 is Careless is going to be releasing on audio next month.
Ooh,
And I'm so excited for that. Because book
I'm excited for
2,
that.
you've already met the characters from book 2. But so the way the series is set up is very unique, as it's very much kind of, the best way to put it is it's kind of like a soap opera. Is how each episode of a soap opera, it mostly focuses on a couple of characters, and then you have sprinkles of what's going on with everyone around them. And then the next episode, you have some other characters that is mostly focusing on, and then you get sprinkles of everyone else, and it continues that way. So book 1, you have Finn and Francine.
Mm-hmm.
And book 2, you have Sorsha, who you met Sorsha. She's Finn's sister. The sweet and caring and yet also sassy mid-sized queen that is Sorsha O'Reilly. And Finn's best friend, Ryan, who is the major asshat that Franny hates.
I know. I told Lizzie towards the end, like when we had finished the book, I was like, oh, because I read like a couple of things down, like on the like Amazon and everything, and I saw that the second book was about Sorsha and Ryan, and I was like, oh, Lizzie, you won't know who the second book is about. I
So
was
would
super
you
excited.
say that these are interconnected standalones, or it's a whole series that you would
No.
suggest everyone read book 1?
Okay, so the first 6 books are like series. You need to read them in order. Now,
Okay.
the books that I'm currently working on right now, they're a place, if you don't want to read the first 6 books, you can jump in right there and you'll be fine.
Okay.
But it's something that I'm only suggesting to do that if you just want to hop in right there and be done. That if you actually want to dedicate to the series, to start with Reckless.
Okay. Good to know.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Good to
Okay.
know.
And then
Which
book
one?
3, we are back to Finn and Franny.
Oh, I gotta get there. I
Mhm.
Yeah.
gotta get there.
Yes, because book 1 with Reckless, you very much see Finn and Franny reconnecting, and you see them starting to fall in love and all of that. And you see her very much come into who she is as a person. And then you get to Restless, which is book 3, and you see Miss Harley Quinn kind of take over.
Oh, yes. Miss Harley Quinn.
Talk about character development, by the way. Like, it was like
That
a
was
switch,
awesome.
and we're like 360.
Well, the best way
That was awesome.
to describe Francine is she's been one of those people that she shows people what she thinks they want to see,
Mm-hmm.
because this is something she has been conditioned to do. So Finn helped her break out of that little bubble, and now she gets to develop who she actually is, and who she actually is a crazy bitch that has a petty streak.
I'm
I will
pretty
just
sure
say
we got
there's a
that from a certain chapter
Yeah.
in there.
Well, there is a scene, and this isn't giving away any spoilers, it's just something for y'all to look forward to. There's a scene in book 3 where Finn pisses her the fuck off, and she gets some petty revenge by not only destroying something very precious to him, she starts some drama for him by destroying Donatello's club. You met Donatello in Reckless. He's the guy that came to the house after the whole warehouse scene.
Yes, I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah, Donatello is a mafia goon, and she just went and destroyed his club for the heck of it.
I love her. Lord have mercy.
Listen, feminine rage is like my top trope. Like unhinged
It's right there.
baddies are like number one for me.
I absolutely love Francine, but who I love more than Francine is her mother. Because you think
I loved her character.
Franny is unhinged?
You have no idea. The apple didn't fall
That
too far
is,
from the tree, basically.
let's just say both of Francine's parents are highly unhinged to the point of what the actual fuck is going on. What did I just read?
I have to read this book.
Book 3 and not book 3. Book 4, 5, and 6 are Franny's mom's story with Finn's dad, and then you get a third.
Okay. That was one of my questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
We
the
told-
third is, you've probably seen in your comments of your videos that y'all have made, people mentioning someone named Ollie. And that is who they're talking about. The third. HD Baker in the comments. She's like, the third. Yes. Like, for up until book 4, everybody's favorite person was Finn. He was everyone's favorite. And then they get to the end of the book and they're like, well, now I have a new favorite. Ollie is the best character, bar none. Everyone loves Ollie.
Good to know. We're gonna have to keep reading the series. They're actually they're pretty short, right? Like less than 300 pages.
Yeah, all of them, with the exception of the very last book, are relatively short. But I'll show you this so you can see how thick book 6 is.
Oh, someone's getting
This is how thick book 6 is.
Oh wow.
Yep.
Looks like a
It
Lord
is
book to me.
a thicken. It's
She a thick
over
one, okay.
700 pages.
Oh my.
Versus the 2 before it.
You had a
Okay.
lot in that one, huh? A lot of things happened in that book, I feel like.
Characters had a lot
yes.
to say in that book.
So, the timeline of it is book 4 and 5 happen before Francine's mom married into the Grey family. Book 5 ends like the night before she marries into that family.
So
Okay.
it's like a prequel.
And
We get
the consequence, which is book 6, it starts the day before she returns to Grove Hill. So it overlaps with Reckless.
Oh wow.
Overlaps Reckless, Careless, Restless. It overlaps all of them. It reveals a lot about all of the secrets that it has. Yes, I knew what.
You're kind of breaking up there, Z. I got the gist of what Z was saying, but
That
I just
better?
like shoot much better.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay, is that better?
Yes.
Yep. We can hear you.
We kind of jumped around these questions, Miss Z, for the ones that we had for you.
So,
Okay. Can y'all hear me better?
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to go ahead and give us a brief overview of the first book?
Okay, so Reckless follows Finn and Francine. Finn is, your typical bad boy. He saved her when she was a little girl, and she pretty much never forgot about that. And she's been trying to avoid him because, typical bad boy, stay away from me, the stove is hot. Until he makes her a bet that she cannot seem to refuse at all, even though we all know she should have. And the bet is that he has to make her fall in love with him within 6 weeks. And if he does, he gets to have her in his bed. If he doesn't, he has to leave her alone forever.
Oh, that plot twist when he didn't even know that she was the same little girl.
Mm-hmm.
That got me. I was like, oh, he didn't know.
And the funny thing is, you go the whole book thinking that he does know.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, wait, what? No, you didn't know?
It's like you wanted to have that conversation. Like, wait a minute.
You
You
all
didn't
these
know?
hints, like, yeah, I do know. And then it turns out, nope, that had nothing to do with that.
So we know that this would be considered romance, but would you consider this book like dark romance? And if it is, like, what made you want to write dark romance?
I would very much consider it to be dark romance, but it's not quite getting dark, but it's at the starting point to where, if someone's wanting to dip their toes in a dark romance, they can start there and they'll probably be comfortable.
Okay.
But, I started writing dark romance before I even knew dark romance was a thing. Like, I didn't find out that dark romance was a thing until, like, a year and a half ago. And I released Reckless 3 years ago.
So like that was like before the genre was even like
pretty much
big at that
like
point.
exploded.
Yeah. Like that was like before. Before then I had been writing, but really the Bastard series is like my baby. It's like my thing that I want to become something that's big.
I like HD Baker's like Beth's book is dark.
It's definitely a good book to suggest, like a good series to suggest for somebody who is just starting out in the genre.
Dipping. Yeah, someone who is just wanting to
it's
start off in it. Yeah.
To give someone to decide how dark is too dark. Because it's baby steps. You're slowly getting up, and each book is darker the further you go until, and I've had multiple people tell me this, that The Consequence is the darkest book they've ever read. The darkest and the saddest.
Oh no. Are you trying to break my heart?
It makes people cry. Multiple times.
Oh, you're gonna break my heart. Oh no. Now I'm scared.
The confusion and the consequence make everybody cry.
Oh no. So we must get like like videos of us reading that one,
Yeah,
Lizzie, so that way we.
you'll have to send us the chapters for that one. Like what chapters to
Mm-hmm.
film ourselves.
Yeah, we'll send you an email or a message on here, and we'll tell you when we're reading it, when we got up to it, and then we'll tell you which chapters that we should record ourselves, and then those will be fun.
Listen, I cried like a freaking baby writing The Contusion and the Consequence. So I say, hey, I went through it. You've got to go through it. I cried like a freaking baby. And it's not even a, oh my God, this is so dark kind of cry. It's that you go through the emotions of
Mm-hmm.
what the FMC is having to deal with.
Okay.
And she goes through the ringer for everything. Like, I'm pretty sure you noticed reading Reckless that what she's saying, the math ain't mathin'. It doesn't make
Very true.
sense, and it's not supposed to make sense. And she
Okay.
has a lot of secrets, and the catalyst, the contusion, and the consequence are finding out what those secrets are. Because
We
I
could
won't
tell if there was
spoil
something
it.
hidden.
He does something in the book of Restless that left so many people like, we need to know what the heck happened to this woman. And so it's like, are you sure? You sure you want me to do that? Because I did not plan to write her books. I planned to like tell her story through the other books.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, if I write this book, it's gonna hurt like a bitch. And you're like, okay. So I started writing it, and I figured it was gonna be one book. Nope, turned into 3. Probably should have been 4.
What inspired the bastards?
Well, I had a story idea that I had been working on back when I was 18. I'm 32 years old, okay? So this was a long time ago. And the concept was the basic concept was the bet itself. Like that was the
Okay.
basic concept. I was working on that and everything. And then, I just decided to put it off to the side because I was in a place where I knew my writing wasn't up to what it needed to be. I still needed to hone my craft and everything, so I put it off to the side. And 3 years later, I met my wife and the people she was living with, and she had a roommate named John. And I ended up spending some time with John, and he scared the absolute piss out of me because he told me all about his family, who was one of the 5 founding families of Cypress, Texas. And
Okay.
the horrible things they did to people who made them mad and all of that. And he was completely serious. Like, this man was not joking. He was very serious. And I went to my wife and I was like, I never want to talk to this person ever again. Do not leave me alone with them. And John and his family was actually where the Bastards of Grove Hill came from, because Grove Hill is based off of Cypress, Texas.
Oh wow!
Nice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We were wondering that. We were wondering if it was actually like based on something true
Not
or a
me
city that
going to
was true.
Google.
Oh yeah,
Nothing
very
going to
much
Google.
based off of. The gist of it is based off of true, like having these 5 families that basically run the town really knows that they run the town, even though they run the fucking town. And that, everybody's scared of them and all that shit. Granted, people had reasons to be scared of John and his family.
Shoot, I would have been scared.
They had a
It's
lot
not very big.
of, but
Okay. It's
mm-hmm,
not very big.
Cyprus is not
That's a
very
part of
big.
Texas?
It's basically a suburb of Houston.
Okay. Got it. Huh.
Yeah, like
Very
there
interesting.
are many little small areas where there's suburbs, but Cyprus is pretty much like one of those places. Like at this time, it was one of those places where people would stop there to shop and then they keep moving along. Not a lot of people lived in Cyprus at the time.
I mean, it doesn't look like it's a big population now. It's only like 100,000 something.
That's very little.
Yeah. We live in Florida, so we're just used to traffic and people.
They're everywhere. You can't get away from people here.
So, what
Oh,
made
wait.
you decide to do a high school romance?
Um, for the most part, I decided to set it in high school because of the fact that, you know, when you're in high school, that's where you're really coming into yourself and starting to
Mm-hmm.
discover where the heck you want to go in your life. That is where it all starts. And I also had so many high school romances where most of it completely surrounded around the school aspect, like people talking about their grades and that they were doing. And I very much wanted to dismantle that whole setup of where you go into it and you initially think, this is what I'm getting. And then you slowly realize, nope, it's pulling you away from it and focusing more on the actual story instead of the setting. At the beginning
Okay.
of the book, Francine's completely dedicated to her studies. She's a dancer. She has friends that she mostly only hangs out with at school, and her hoity-toity boyfriend, and all this stuff that just basically just surrounds the fact that she is in high school, and she's just counting the days until she can run off to college and escape town, and then her world is like flipped on its axis.
Speaking about her hoity-toity boyfriend, I have a question that's probably not on the questions, but Duncan, are we done with him, or is he going to pop up?
No, we're not done with Duncan. We're far from done with Duncan.
Good to
I'll put
know.
it this way. I have had a group of readers say, after reading other parts of the series, they're like, look, we don't like Duncan for Franny, but dot 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 dot.
But
Let's
see, like I was feeling bad for him, and I was like, oh, I was like, poor Duncan, until that scene, and I was just like, oh, you know what? Now I don't like you anymore. That's it.
Get my
You had my
sympathy.
vote.
we'll say this.
Take my vote back.
I have seen a lot of advice that readers that have immersed themselves into my books give to other people that want to dabble in them. And the best piece of advice I've seen are two things. One, pay attention to everything. And two, not everything's as it seems.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just put that out there so
That is good to know.
we know what Franny walked in on. We know what Franny saw, and that she saw what she saw. Let's You're going to find out so much more about Duncan in book 3, and you'll get to see behavior in book 2, and all of that's going to make you feel really bad for Duncan. But
Oh no.
Duncan does get his own book.
What does he now?
I know there are so many people that read. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's not out yet, but at one point, Duncan's going to have his own book.
So but it's not part of the Bastards series. So it's part of the other ones that you were talking about before in
It's
the
going to be
beginning.
connected, but it's not part of the main series.
Okay.
My Siri decided to talk to me just now. I said so, and she thought I was talking to her.
So you kind of told us a little bit, but like the first book gives us like a glimpse of what the bastards really are into, and the other books, I guess we get like more of what exactly they do and what their club's about and a backstory on them.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not really a club, and this is something that I think is very hard to explain when people ask, what are they? And it's that they're not really a gang, really a club. They're not mafia. They're not, an MC. So what are they? They basically just a group of families that have taken upon themselves to protect those around them from horrible people.
Okay. Now, I know, like, okay, so you said that the first book was Francine and Finn, and then the third book is also Francine and Finn. Um, and then Beth gets her own 2 books. So the second one follows Ryan and Zepphora. So
Sorcha.
4 Searcher.
Sorge.
Where did I get Zephyr from? I don't know. Um, but then the is it the 2 last ones that follow Beth? Am I missing one?
The 3.
Last three.
So the last 3. Okay, got you. Okay, so now I understand
Mm-hmm.
the line and how it goes. Okay, got you.
Yeah, and there's
Teddy
much
Hamilton.
more from this. We ain't close.
Ooh. So we know Teddy Hamilton did Finn. Is he going to continue to do the rest of the book, or are you picking other narrators?
Well, the way we're doing it is that, okay, so we have Teddy and Katie as Finn and Francine for the series. Like from this point on, anytime Finn and Francine talk, it is going to be Teddy and Katie. And for Careless, we have Ryan and Sorcha, who are being played by the amazing, talented Michael Gallagher and Ramona Master. And from this point on, they are going to continue playing that role through the rest of the series. So once a character has a book, that's when the narrator comes in and plays their roles.
Okay.
That's awesome. Was it a hard undertaking as an indie to do an audiobook?
I wouldn't say it was hard. The most difficult part of it was getting the whole It took me months to get with him. He usually only production companies. I did not know that at the time. I would go to every outlet to get in contact directly to him. Not work
Are you getting any of that?
until
No.
No. Z, we're not like really hearing you clearly.
How about now? Can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Okay.
So we got the gist that you said that it took
Sorry,
you
what?
some time to get a hold of Teddy. Was that right?
Yeah. It took me some time to get a hold of him, and it wasn't until I talked to my friend who's Tiffany P. Reads on TikTok, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I can get you a hold of him," and sent me the email for the owner of One Night Stand Studios, who is a production company. And she helped me deal with everything. She made everything very easy. And I cannot explain how nerve-wracking it was between the time of her saying, "Oh, I sent Teddy your manuscript," to getting the approval from him, was because she sent it to him and then he went on vacation for a month. And I'm like, I am so nervous
Mortifying,
about
guy.
this.
The
And
anxiety.
then she sends me an email and she's like, "Look at this." And it's a forwarded email from Teddy of him being like, "Oh my God, this is exactly what I've been looking for." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's awesome."
Oh, I would have been
That's
jumping for
so
joy.
exciting.
I'm
I
pretty
was
sure you were.
dying.
Is One Night Stand where you'll be doing all the books then?
Yes.
Okay.
Good to know.
Now, okay, so for Francine and Finn's like first time, you know, doing that.
We know.
So, did you pick that particular thing? And you know what I'm talking about, ma'am. To play a part in that situation. Did you pick it just because like you wanted to make it more intimate, or it just happened to flow like that?
Okay, so
Pun
I had
intended.
a completely different plan for their first time.
Okay.
And the plan was supposed to be way further down the line. Yes, I was going to drag it out even further. Sue me. It just kind of flowed, and they made those choices. That wasn't me, that was them.
She's like, that wasn't me. Don't blame me. That had to do with them completely.
At that point, Kay didn't get there quite yet, and I was like, I thought she was there, so I call her, and I'm like, "Oh my God!" Da, 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 da. And she's like, "Man, I'm
I didn't
not there
even get
yet."
there yet.
I was like, "Oh, I
Like,
thought
how
you were
dare
there."
you spoil it for me?
Like that was the only part in the book that she actually did spoil, because we were pretty much like on point to like, we were together as we were reading, but that one particular part, she calls me and she's like, "Oh my God, they did it like this and this and that," and I'm like, "Lizzie, I needed one more page before I got there, ma'am." It was the funniest situation, but like you had to have been there to watch my reaction. Like,
See,
oh, like you just ruined it.
I'm over here wondering if you're talking about the stuff she took or if you're talking about the Red Wings.
The Red
The
Wings.
Red Wings.
Okay.
Definitely the Red Wings, ma'am.
Oh, he earned those Red Wings very well.
Listen, I put it in the trigger warnings, and people would message me, be like, Red Wings? What's Red Wings? And I'm like, you don't know what Red Wings are.
Google is
If you
free.
don't know what wings are, then you're too young to read this.
Like, I'm not shaming anyone that doesn't know, but I was at that point under the impression that everybody knew because I was the late bloomer that had to have someone explain it to me. Like, I had to go to my wife and I'm like, hey, is there a word for this? And she just looks at me like I'm the dumbest thing ever and like, you don't know what Red Wings are? And I'm like, oh, is that what it's called? Okay.
Let me put that in my book.
Because I'm literally rereading through it, trying to make sure I have like every trigger warning possible on there. And I'm just like, would this be a trigger?
Not me, like bypassing the trigger warning page because I didn't even know until that happened. I was just like, oh, I don't need that. I don't need that. Slide on by. Then when I got there, I was like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. Okay,
So
then.
this is happening.
Pretty much. That's how that went. Okay, so the characters chose to go with the Red Wings situation. Okay, no
As Granny
problem.
would say.
Francine is confident because I would be, nope, don't touch me. Imagine? No.
No, sir. We is not. But then I also think that the confidence came from what she took.
We can just say
as
that
well.
she was under the influence.
Yes. She was riding that cloud nine like there was no tomorrow in that scene.
Mm-hmm. And him too.
I was about to say, not him being like, it's lube. What?
Actually, that bit was actually a suggestion by my editor. She was like, why don't you put it in like this? And I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing this.
You did that.
Mm-hmm.
He also made
You
the
did that part.
suggestion of Wham Bam, thank you, Daddy.
That is my favorite quote from this book.
We absolutely love that part. That part was so hilarious. I think that that's one of our scenes of the like that Lizzie recorded where we were dying laughing when she said that. Like, Wham Bam, thank you, Daddy.
Well, it was originally just Wham Bam, and she was like, wait, here is the perfect opportunity.
It was
because I know the original, the way it's usually said is Wham Bam, thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
And of course, I had it originally cut down to just Wham Bam.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, wait, since the line is originally Wham Bam, thank you, ma'am, let's just change ma'am to Daddy. And I was like, you know what? That's a good choice.
It was perfect. That was.
Next time you send an email to Teddy, I need you to ask him if that is his favorite quote as well from the book.
See, I can't imagine him narrating it and not be blushing. Like, there's a difference between narrating a spicy scene and narrating just a random, like, Wham Bam, thank you, Daddy. Because the sound of his voice, I can't imagine that he wasn't blushing. Like, this is Hamilton. Not only is he that narrator that we all know for being such a good audiobook narrator, he's also the guy that goes on lives wearing a onesie, pajamas, and holding a small dog. Like anytime he has a TikTok interview where he's on live, he is always wearing footy pajamas, sometimes with the hood up.
He's so
He's
cute.
my spirit animal because I wish I was in pajamas
We
right
love
now.
Teddy. Teddy is a national treasure at this point.
We definitely like Teddy. Yes, we do.
See, me and Kay actually are not big audiobook girlies,
No.
but your audiobook?
Yeah. Yes,
Thank
it
you.
was. Yes, it was because we were like listening to we were like, okay, we're gonna go in with this one. We're gonna just do the audio, go in, and we listened to the first chapter together. Like I was coming after work, and she was home already, and we sat down and we just listened to it, and we were like the entire time, mouth open, jaw dropped. Mm-hmm.
Back to our questions, though. Which character do you relate to the most?
The character I have to relate to the most is Beth, and
Okay.
I can't really explain without giving spoilers because y'all haven't read her books to know all of what she went through, but a lot of what she went through is things that I have also experienced in one way or another.
Okay.
And so it's very hard for me to explain without giving away spoilers for things that she goes through and all of that. Because that is a lot.
Was it very therapeutic to like write her story?
It was, and it was also, it kind of set me back like I hadn't been able to write for about 4 months after I finished The Consequence. I could not write. Because I had spent nearly 6 months straight every day writing her story. Book 4, 5, and 6 took me about 6 months. And usually with most books, it only takes me 6 weeks to write a whole book.
Okay. 6 months. That's crazy.
Yeah, it took me, well, the original form of Reckless was Reckless and Restless combined. And that took me 6 weeks.
Oh wow.
Okay.
What is now Reckless took me about 2 weeks.
So do you do like the first draft and then another draft and then just send it to edits? Is that like
No,
your
I
process?
take the first draft and I go through it and make sure that, I'm not missing anything, that there's nothing that I wanted to put in there that I have left out. And then I go through and do my grammatical edits, just making sure everything comes out as smooth as I possibly can. And then I send it off to, my alpha readers, beta readers, and then they go to my editor.
Okay.
Wow. I know some authors are like 8 drafts and then like editor, so that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know how people do that because once I write it, I can't rewrite it. I can only fix it up to look pretty. What you got is what you get.
What you see is what you get. That's it. Okay, so if you could cast Reckless into a movie, who would you cast?
Okay,
I'm
so
trying to
this is
picture
a
people in my
very
head.
good question because, and I've actually talked about this possibility with my close friends a lot of times. And one thing is, I don't think Reckless would do very well as a movie, but I think the series as a whole would do good as a series.
A series
First
I
off,
will be watching.
that has actually
Just
been
saying.
something that is what I'm working towards with the books is I want it to be a series.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Oh, I'm excited.
Because one thing I do with my books is I use them to address very serious topics that no one wants to talk about.
Okay.
Like, no one ever wants to talk about the long-term effects of a parent not fully supporting their child after they've been through something as traumatic as what Francine went through. You don't talk about the importance of a support system and what it's like to have someone that you trust, someone that's a part of your family, hurt you and betray you the way what Francine went through. Like, those are
A
some
lot
of the
parents
subjects.
ignore mental health completely. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seeing that growing up, so.
Mm-hmm. And so I really wanted to use my books. Sorry about that. I really wanted to use my books as a way to talk about very serious subjects and to get people talking about it. And I have so many people in my DMs wanting to talk to me about things that they went through that were similar to what happened to Francine or what Sorsha went through or what Beth has gone through. And that is something that is very important to me, because as people that survive these types of circumstances, one of the biggest issues I found is we don't really know who to talk to. We feel like we're alone. And that is the biggest problem, is the fact that when we're going through it, we don't realize how many people are out there that feel the exact same way. And that's why, if my books were ever turned into a series, I would want it to be directed by Justin Baldoni. Which to me is way more important than who is in it, is who's directing it.
Okay, so are we going to talk about the tea right now? Is that what we're doing? Okay. I'm here for
Yes.
it.
We can talk about the tea. Justin Baldoni is not only my favorite actor, he's my favorite director, and I love everything he does. However, I will say fuck Colleen Hoover. Fuck Blake Lively. They can go to hell.
I mean, facts though. Because why are we acting like this is a rom-com? I was very confused.
And he was handling it the way he should be. He was, in his interviews, focusing it on the sensitive topics instead of, I'm in the show, I'm using my new hair care line. Well, why does your hair look like shit? I'm sorry.
It was very, very out of touch, for sure. Very out of touch.
Yeah, one thing to know about me, I call shit like this. I have no filter.
And you have probably become one of our favorite people.
Well, thank you.
We don't get people like that very often, so it's a fresh breath of air. Like when you have people that are just brutally honest with you, whether you like it or not, they're gonna tell you how it is.
Yeah.
That's the
I
best.
mean,
That's the best people for
And
me.
this whole mean girl thing that you see Blake Lively and all of her little cronies doing, that is absolutely horrible. Like, completely icing him out to the point that she won't even refer to him as anything other than the director.
I know, I seen that too. I was like, what?
And before anyone was even putting it together, I'm like, why does this feel like high school?
Here's the thing, is that he was the one who found the book, read the book, and wanted to direct the movie. Like, that was his. And then she came on and pretty much made it about her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And why Colleen Hoover is just jumping on that bandwagon is crazy to me, because that is not what your readers would want.
Absolutely not.
Because Colleen Hoover is looking at it as a cash grab. That if she gets on Blake Lively's bad side, well, there goes her sequel, because there's her main character
Correct.
right there.
Yes, Rose said it right.
Bad
Bad
attention.
I
attention
won't
is still
lie to you.
attention.
I don't read Colleen Hoover. I've read one
Neither do
book by
I.
Colleen
Me too.
Hoover. I don't have any like inkling to want to go read her books.
Yeah, I went to
I
my
read
group of
one
friends. We
of
have
it.
like a group chat on Facebook Messenger, and I'm like, I'm going to see It Ends With Us. They're like, really? You don't like Colleen Hoover? In fact, you hate Colleen Hoover. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going in support of Justin Baldoni. And I'm
I mean,
going
I
dressed
wouldn't object to see
completely
the
in
movie.
black. Instead
I
of
just don't want to
wearing
read
my
the book.
florals, I'm going dressed in black.
She said, I'm going to go in all
The
black.
fact that she said that, get your girlfriends, wear your florals, and go
I
see
was
the movie.
like, I hadn't even read It Ends With Us, and I was like, what the hell is wrong with you? How the heck could you say that about something you know is about DV? Everyone knows is about DV.
Very, very, very sad.
But I also do feel like after I watched the movie and everything, I have to say this as an author, is that I believe that people who go on the bandwagon of using the term romanticizing it, they get the terms romanticizing and humanizing completely mixed up.
Yeah.
Is that
That right
It Ends With Us does not romanticize domestic violence. What it does is it shows that he is a human. You know, he's not just this fictitious villain who, I'm just going to hurt her and I'm going to like hurting her. When that's not the way abusers usually are. They're very charismatic. They're very affectionate and loving and giving and want to do all these things for you. And once you're there, they start to relax.
Correct.
They control themselves until they relax, and that's when you start to see the dark side coming out. And they very much showed that. So I think what it is people, and this is not just, people that haven't gone through it. There's also people that have gone through it. They're very uncomfortable with seeing their abuser as a human being. Because just because they're a human being doesn't make them any less of an abuser.
Mm-hmm. Hello, you.
And I think that is really where people end up getting into these arguments of, oh, it's not romanticizing. Yes, it is. No, there's a difference between romanticizing and humanizing them. Like in all my books, everybody is humanized. They all have wants, desires, they have fears, and everybody, they are good and they are bad in one way or another.
Well, I give it to Justin Baldoni because he has really went like above and beyond, because he's better than I am, because I'd be like, listen, you and your ego need to go.
Mm-hmm.
My mama told me that if I didn't have nothing else to say, don't say nothing at all. So I'm just gonna stay quiet. All right.
Well,
So,
Zepphora, we absolutely loved reading your book. Loved
absolutely.
it. 5
It was
stars from
definitely a
us.
5-star.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad y'all enjoyed Finn and Franny. I almost called him Finny and Fran.
Oh, he was they were fun to read, and I can't wait to like continue reading them and all that stuff. Because I'm gonna continue with the series definitely because I
Yeah,
want
me
to read
too.
that.
It was a 5 star read for both of us. I like as soon as I was done, I texted Kay and I was like, "Okay, so this is a 5 star for me," and she's like, "It's a 5 star for me too." So we were obsessing all week. I hope, or we
All
hope,
week.
that you enjoyed all our content that we made for you.
I did. It was awesome. I was sharing it with everybody. I'm like, look at this.
Especially our last one, like when Lizzie made that video, I absolutely loved it because Lizzie is more like the creative one, and of us, I'm more of the type A where I'm organizing everything, where Lizzie is the creative one and she makes the videos and all that good stuff. So it's just like when she made that video and she sent it to me, and then I was not able to answer her right then and there. Then I answered her maybe an hour later, and she goes, "Oh, I already posted that."
It took too long, girl. It
You
took
took
too
too
long.
long. I was like, okay, I was just saying it was great.
Yeah, and when one of y'all emailed me saying, "Hey, can we use this clip from the audiobook for the video?" And I was like, "There's no video here, but I don't care."
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. I was like, oh, maybe she doesn't want us to do that. So I just wanted to double check before I made these videos. So Kay sent me
Oh, I
the
love
quote
it
that
when
she wanted.
people use the audiobook and they just make audios with it. Like when I first got the audio files back, I made a video and was like, I want people to blind react to this audio. And I had so many people doing it and the looks on their faces because it was that the hallway scene.
Listen, you're gonna make me go through that emotion all over again.
I also have spicy art of that hallway scene.
Ooh.
Miss
Is that
Ma'am,
on
you
your
are holding
Instagram?
out.
Is that available on your Instagram?
See how she's giggling? She's like, I am holding out.
I actually haven't had it printed yet. I've had it in hand and I've just not had the file printed for people to be able to have. So right now it's just my baby, but it's gorgeous.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get to see all of
Now,
Finn's tattoos and his yeah. And her melons. Her beautiful melons.
well, if you ever want to share, you have our email.
Yes. If you just want to make, a girl's day one day, it's just like, random. Here you go.
I will
We
be
would
sure
love
to
it.
do that.
Lizzie, thank you so much for taking the time out for coming on Spicy Book Paradise with us and sharing about your book, sharing about your experience and all the things good about the Bastards of Grove Hill. We cannot wait to read these books, the rest of them.
And we should have the
Thank you for
replay up
having
for
me.
you on YouTube
Yes.
tomorrow.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Z.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Night.